Ta-da! Hello and welcome everyone to Women Speakers Association's WSATV. I'm Laura Rubenstein, your host, producer, and digital media and marketing strategist, author of the book Social Media Myths Busted, The Small Business Guide to Online Revenue. You can find me online at transformtoday.com. And today, as you can see, we have a very powerful topic. It's all about the goldmine within of self-discovery, and I have some amazing women here who are experts in the field of using self-discovery to find the gold mine. Find your gold mine that you but you may have not even thought about. Let's put it that way. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we're going to go say hi to our experts today. Hi, Janet.
Hi, Laura. Thank you for having me. I'm an art therapist just outside of Manchester and Concord, New Hampshire in Amherst, and I am a seasoned educator, certified hypnotist, and my business is inspiredlearningllc.net, and I love what I do.
I'm glad you're here. So glad. I can't wait to jump into our topics. But before that, let's say hi to Cynthia.
Hello, I'm Cynthia Oraduba. I'm a professional and personal development coach, speaker, and author of It's Your Turn, Uncovering the Best You Now. I live in Los Angeles, California, and I can be found at Missing Peace, PEACE coaching.com.
Thanks for being here, Cynthia. And let's go to Noreen. Hi, Noreen.
Hello, my name is Noreen Butler. I'm here from New York. I'm a personal and transformation coach, and I am excited to be here. You can reach me at www.noreenbutler.com. I'm also an author of Dare to Dream, Find the Answers Within.
Thank you. Okay, well, we are here ready to rock and roll. And what are we rocking and rolling on? It's all about self-discovery. I know that's not compelling, but if you are looking for a gold mine in your life to find your best answers, you're going to need to work on something. And self-discovery is a great avenue to go down. And I know I want to get right to Janet and get your advice. Janet, tell us what advice you have for people who want to start doing self-discovery, or why should they start doing self-discovery?
Great question, Laura. I believe you have to go in to go out. And I think it's really important that you build a connection with your inner self that is peaceful and is congruent with your values and belief systems. And I often ask individuals to consider the opportunity that we all have right now to learn basic meditation by following the breath and quieting the wild monkey of your mind, as the Buddhists call it. So it's really important to start at a very, very basic level and not to be afraid of it. I think there's a lot of potential here for all of us to learn with just something very, very basic as the human breath, and just narrating it, slow it all down, because our world is very fast-paced.
Yeah, that's a great place to start, and you've really made it simpler than most anybody I've ever heard. Just follow the breath. So that M word sometimes is a really intimidating word, but just follow the breath and slow down is great. Is there anything else people can do to amplify their self-discovery?
I think the idea of beginning to understand imagery in our lives. We talk a lot about education, and this is all about self-education. The important thing to understand is the history of that word is educare, which is Latin, which basically means to draw out. So if education is all about drawing out, then there's a little key in there for all of us to say, wow, possibly if we begin just drawing, even if you're not an artist, I think it's important for us to begin to think in images. I mean, imagery is all around us in graphics and so forth, and design and so on. But what about your personal imagery? What is that there for? And can we start to unlock some patterns in our imagery by journaling and drawing and collaging and doing personal vision boarding?
Wow. That's such powerful advice that most people don't even think about, using the power of imagery. And, if you take it in a two-step process, like you just said, slow down, follow your breath, and then use imagery. I wish we had a whole time to go into the power of imagery and how to use it, but just start thinking about imagery. It can draw you into a whole new realm and find treasures. So speaking of treasures, Cynthia, I want to go to you, and I want to find out from you, how can people start on this journey of self-discovery? What advice do you have?
Thank you. I just want to say, Janet, that's so important about the breath, because that's something that we can control. And when we focus on our breath, then it takes us into ourself so that we can start appreciating what it is that we have. Now, I like to look at it as a treasure hunt. And when you realize that you have so many rich gems buried within, that you can just tap anytime you want to take that breath, be present with yourself, and delve in. And it's so interesting. Once you do it, you find, oh my goodness, I had this and I was overlooking it. And now I have something that I can grasp onto that is mine, that can provide enrichment for me and thereby others. So I will talk a little bit more about it, but I love the work of treasure hunting. I'm like Indiana Jones.
Well, where would someone start to start their treasure hunt of their own gold mine within?
You know when there's something missing. There's some discontent. You may be doing everything that seems right, but there's something missing, because there's more within you that you need to tap into and that you want to tap into, but you may not be aware of how to. And just knowing that there is that help there for you, so that you can access your personal gems and use them.
Awesome. That is kind of the crux of it. If you don't believe you have this gold mine within, then you're missing out on the gold mine. But the message, what I'm taking away from you, Cynthia, and Janet so far, is that there's this rich gold mine. You have everything you ever dreamed of, and it's within. It's about accessing it. So, Noreen, let's go to you. And how do you help? Not how do you help? What advice do you have to help people to access their inner gems?
First of all, ladies, thank you for sharing, because I think we're all in that. We all have that same passion. I start out with vision boarding and questions. I help people first understand what is it that they really want to create. And if they really had anything in the world, what's the one big wish that they would be granted? That's a great place to start. And then I'm passionate about vision boards. So I help them, help them see all the things that they want. And I get them really excited, because I think the first thing about self-discovery is to get the motivation going. And so I make it fun. That's the first part. I really believe that inside of us that we need to feel like it's fun. I happen to use an analogy. I help them do their vision boards, and then I show them and take them down like what I like to call the path of the yellow brick road. So I'd help them see all the things they can learn within outside, but to really focus more on the inside.
The beautiful analogy. Everybody loves the Wizard of Oz, and when we can go down that yellow brick road to is there a one step? How can people start on that yellow brick road you have that you'd like to share?
Yes. Well, the first thing I say is to follow your heart. I think what that means when you really take the time, as you both said about meditating. But when you look within and you find yourself, your body will show you what's really happening. When you think of something, I tell them to think of something that you really love, that makes you really happy, and close your eyes and visualize that. When you recognize that feeling in your body that's happening with your mind and the connection, that's where to start. Follow your heart. So if you first do that, let me explain an example, right? So if you can remember something that made you really happy, some place in time, whether it's time with your family, whatever it is, whether it's when you got married, when you had your first child, whatever it might be, when you have that moment and your clarity and you're closing your eyes and you're feeling it, you want to understand why you felt that. What was it about it that made you feel excited and fulfilled? That's a great place to start, in my opinion.
That's great advice. Thank you. So what I'm taking away from the three of you is that we have everything we need. We really do. It's a gold mine inside, number one. It's about slowing down, using the power of visuals. It's about using the power of our breath, trusting that we have everything we need, and then getting maybe even some guidance to go down that yellow brick road and find those treasures and trust that it's going to happen. So each of you are an expert in helping people in this. I'd like to learn a little bit more about your unique areas of expertise. So who do you work with and what do you do? Janet, let's go over to you first.
Well, I have three sections of my services that I speak about. And the first is holistic educational advocacy. When I tell people that the current curriculum in public education was written in 92, and then I follow up with it was written in 1892, they're often shocked. So the problem with the over-identification of lots and lots of special needs kids finding themselves not fitting in has become epidemic in our country. And so I work with a naturopathic physician to get kids off of big pharma medications, and I work with a nutritionist to help them to replace that with good nutrition. And then my piece rounds it out with helping children to learn Mindfulness Plus is what I have, and I hope to have a book published with the title Breathe 1, 2, 3 in 2018 with some of the strategies that I use with children as young as 5 years old. I also do brain retraining. So I do that through hypnosis and something called play attention, and art therapy. So I combine the art and the hypnosis together to be able to create a real well-rounded trilogy of services for individuals who are maybe alternative learners.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. I love what you're up to. So tell us a little bit about how you came to this work, or do you have a story of how you actually helped someone?
Yes. I was recently asked to help a little 5-year-old girl who was struggling with behavior issues, blurting out, anything that came to mind, grabbing things in stores, not listening, your typical 5-year-old behaviors where the world is just hers. And that had a wonderful mother who understood that in and of itself is not a real problem, but she didn't have a handle on how to deal with that. The Mindfulness Plus program starts with mindfulness and helping a child to understand their brain. So I use animated stuffed animals to represent the different parts of the brain to help her to understand the wild monkey of her mind and to help her to begin to understand that she could have a name for that so that she didn't feel like she was a bad girl. It's that whole thing of you're not bad, your behavior is a problem, but you are beautiful just the way you are. And by the time I hit maybe the 4th session, she could explain it all to her mother and to me, and how, her wise old owl would come in and sit with Monkey. And of course, from brain science, that's the front of your head, the prefrontal cortex. How does that work? It ends up calming you. And that was the only way that her elephant could learn, because we all know elephants remember. So all of that is woven into Breathe 1, 2, 3, which I hope to finish.
I can't wait to read your book. Thank you so much for all the great work you do, especially with the kids who have the attention spans that are way reduced and the outbursts so perfect. What a resource you are. Cynthia, I want to know a little bit about you. What is your expertise? Who do you work with, and what do you do for them?
Well, I work with women who have put themselves on the back burner for their career or their family, or just because they don't know what to do next. And yet they know that there's something more, something's missing, and they find their way to me. I take them back to find out what was important to them. I started actually initially when they were about 9 or 10 years old, because the crux of it is when you tap into what brings joy, then you can remember, and once you taste it, you remember the taste and you want to bring it back into your life. Until recently, my almost 3-year-old granddaughter, who is in daycare, added a whole new component because through play, she has learned so much. And so I bring an element of play into the work that I do. And that's how I started with this, taking them on a treasure hunt. There is Bruce Snyder, someone by the name of Bruce Snyder, who came up with this, that life is an adventure that cannot be won or lost, only played. And when you start thinking about not losing or not having to win, but just the value of playing it, then it's easier to step in and go on that self-discovery adventure with me.
I love that. I'd love to go on a self-discovery adventure. It sounds so inviting versus scary. So how did you come to this work?
Well, I had a very successful business. I was in the entertainment industry, and I had a talent agency. I worked for William Morris, which is a rather large talent agency, and then I opened up my own. And I got and I loved it. However, it was very involved, and it was before all of the emails, texts, sophisticated smartphones. And so I decided to stop, sell my business, and become a stay-at-home mom. And I loved it. But at some point, I became a little lost. Who is this person? I know that there's so much more to me, and my kids are now up and doing their things, and they don't need the hand holding that I have been doing. And so I felt a loss. I had the opportunity to work with a coach, and I found out that I hadn't even touched hardly any of me. With all that I had done, there was still so much more, and this was so exciting. And then I realized that when I was a coach, when I was an agent, I had been coaching my clients and not realizing that's what I was doing. And so I decided to go back to school and become certified as a coach myself, so I can bring what was natural to me with the tools of the training and help others who were in that position so that they can rediscover or discover pieces of them that had not been touched. And it's been so exciting.
Great. And you went on your own treasure hunt. It's wonderful.
Yes.
You had that opportunity to do for yourself. Great. And I want to now hear from Noreen and your expertise. I want to know who do you work with and what do you do for them?
I have so much in common with Cynthia. I also work with women in transition, generally baby boomers. And basically, they are at a point in their life where they want to reinvent themselves. They've gotten lost along the way, right? So whether they went away from work and raised a family, like Cynthia just said, or whether they have been in a profession that now they just no longer serve them. And so what I mentioned earlier about following your heart and taking them on the Elbic Road, it's really about, if you think of the characters, right? You got to overcome some fears. You have to expand your mind to understand what it is that I really want to do now through visualization, through thought-provoking questions, really exploring, but then get back to your heart. At the end of the day, you want to have that sense of passion and purpose. So I have an example of a woman that I met who was taking care of her mom. So not only had she been a mother, a single mother, now it was her time. Her mother had a stroke, and she was taking care of her mother. She was very unhappy. She had been in a career in a restaurant business for many years. And she got to the point when she got to me, and I love how you said that, Cynthia, they find me. She was so unhappy, she had no idea what she wanted to do. And that's when I'm like, let's get started. So I started to ask her all these thought-provoking questions, and we went on the path. And as we went down the journey, she got clearer and clearer. And I noticed certain things, because that's where I come in with my intuition. She loved being creative. She wasn't even in touch with it. She loved landscaping and good housekeeping, all these things that had nothing to do with the restaurant business. So as I helped her come out, she started to talk to me about how she was never promoted as a young lady. Back in the day, we weren't. It was make money, go to school, do what you got to do. not be yourself and all the mindfulness. Nobody talked like that back then. So long story short, she has now started her own creative design company, and she's also working with she's left the restaurant business. She is also working with the second subcategory of her company where she has a partner where they do embroidery and blankets, right back in that movie that just escapes me right now. So I just feel like watching this woman go from being so unhappy and lost to, Noreen, I can't believe you helped change my life, is why I'm here. It makes me get that excitement, that passion to bring them. And it started with asking questions and taking them down the visualization.
Great analogy. It sounds very, it's a structure that really can help people transform over time and feel good about it, just like Cynthia and Janet do as well with their target markets and audiences. So I want to invite everybody to be in touch with Janet and Cynthia and Noreen because they are, as experts, they have the wisdom. If you resonate with them, just read more about them, learn more. We're going to have their links in the comments below. If you have any comments, or thank you for your hearts. I saw if you come by, on Facebook, if you have a comment, I am keeping an eye out for them as well. And I do have one final question for each of you who are here with me today is, Women Speakers Association really dedicated to bringing more visibility to you and educating and getting your message out in the world. And that's what we do with the premier level here on WSATV. So why did you join? What are the results you're getting from, and what do you love about Women Speakers Association? Janet, let's go to you.
I love the global reach that the Women Speakers Association affords me. And I am eager to expand my business as I move into 2018. So the idea that a global network of people is available to me readily is very exciting because people say, well, you got to find your people. And I think the reach that WSA provides gives me an opportunity to find like-minded individuals who really want that heartfelt connection to coming home to themselves. And I think Noreen really hit the nail on the head when, she was talking about the Wizard of Oz. I think it's about coming home to oneself.
Beautiful thought, and thank you for that. I really appreciate you. And Cynthia, what do you love about Women Speakers Association?
Well, I love that they're doing this program. And I've looked at some of them, and they are wonderful. I love that I just learned something that I could help somebody with whose child has ADD and having a lot of problems. And so Noreen just gave some great information. I love the fact that it affords me the opportunity to connect with other women who are doing some wonderful work so that I can up-level myself and continue to grow myself so that I can continue to be a part of growing the people that I work with.
That's exactly what we're here to do, is help you grow, help you bring your work to others, help connect you. And I believe it's Janet who works with the kids with the ADD. And so, Noreen, let's also hear from you. What value are you getting from Women Speakers Association?
I just love you girls. It's the same feeling, right? It's the connection, it's building the awareness. But mostly I really feel, besides the business part, it's the connection. I love that we're here together, trying to promote one another, refer each other. Right now, I know when I meet somebody who has an ADD child, I know exactly where I'm going to send them, right? And obviously, Cynthia, you and I have so much in common with our niches, right? We have the same thing. Maybe we could partner together on something. I love that I'm working with women and now being a part of as a group just makes me really excited, and I'm really happy to be here.
We're really excited to have all of you here together on Women Speakers Association. And for anybody watching who's interested in having this kind of camaraderie, sisterhood, support, connections, visibility, we're here for you at joinwsa.com. There's a free level of membership waiting for you right there at joinwsa.com. And of course, if you want to expand and your visibility, you can do what each of the ladies here today have done, is join at the premier level. And you know what? We make it really affordable, and we have incredible support. So start with joinwsa.com. wsatv.com, and we'll see you on the next show. We're actually going to have a show next week, and we'll be back right here on the Facebook page at Women Speakers Association, and you can watch previous episodes of Women Speakers Association's WSATV at WSATV.com. So we will be back with you next week. Thanks for being here, everyone. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Thanks.